Hello, I'm Reverend Michael Mugford. I'm part of the ministry team at Cole Harbour Woodside United Church, along with the Reverend Krista Elizabeth Wynne, and I'm pleased to offer this spiritual reflection today. Since the 1940s, the United Church of Canada, in which I minister, has encouraged itself and its people to state the faith afresh, so that each generation could build on what had been and imagine what could be. Almost 15 years ago, the United Church of Canada set out to try to put together a new document that would help us as modern Christians to engage in a new understanding of God that is both modern and ancient. The Song of Faith is one such way of stating the faith afresh. And it begins, God is holy mystery, beyond complete knowledge, above perfect description. It goes back and forth to the very roots of our faith in Judaism and reaches out today in a way that acknowledges that we do not and cannot truly know and describe that which we call God in any sort of single definitive way. The Reverend Dr. Jeffrey France writes, "In our God talk, it is not possible for us to be more definitive or precise because, finally, God cannot be reduced to our verbal assessments about God. It should not be seen as a bad thing that we are required to talk about God in terms of metaphor rather than absolutes. As humans, when we apply a definition to a thing, it's set in stone, or at least it's very difficult to change our understanding or language about a thing. With God, we can't do that. We cannot, and I don't think we should ever be bound by human language. We must use as much language and variance and metaphor as we possibly can when we talk about God, because as soon as we try to define God, then we diminish God and God's ability to be relatable to people who see the world differently than we do. The same can be true for our understanding of Christianity. If Christianity is meant to be a way of being in relationship to God through the life, death, and experience of resurrection in Jesus as the Christ of God, then we cannot define what Christianity must or must not be. We cannot be the arbiters of God and the presence of God in the world. As much as doctrines and interpretations help us to figure out our belief structures, and our structures help us to express them, they do not fit for all people and the way they experience the world, culturally, geographically, demographically, by way of gender or age or any other myriad of factors. These ideas, which are ideally designed to help us encounter the divine and lead others to that encounter for themselves, have too often been used to denigrate, ostracize, condemn, and at worst, destroy the very humanity that Jesus' life and ministry came to uphold and celebrate. I've come that you might have life, and life in all its fullness, to paraphrase John's Gospel. And so today I wonder, perhaps is it time for us to reimagine Christianity for a new day and a new world? Our Western and North American Christianity has seen itself as the only representative of Christianity. The sentiment is, if you aren't a Christian like me, then you aren't a real Christian. And that's become an underlying theme in too much of what we do and say and believe in our time. Those who say the church is under attack from any number of forces might look at the way in which we have attacked others. There's nothing wrong with sharing our faith with others, but if we would rather kill another than believe that God could be in them and in their life, then we have deeply corrupted our faith and the God whom we claim to follow. In a great example for us all, Jesus was a troublemaker. I firmly believe Jesus would have been in the midst of Black Lives Matter marches, partly because he would have been anything but white. He would also support the taxation of the wealthy and corporations. I think he would speak out in favor of a universal basic income so that everybody has a chance to participate in life in their community. I think he would call us out and tell us to protect the planet that his Father and his Creator, his God, had created. He would call us to live by treaties that we have signed in good faith. He would tell us to feed the hungry, clothe the naked, care for the sick, welcome the stranger, the refugee, the immigrant, the foreigner in our midst. That is the Jesus that North American, and I am sure Christianity, has moved away from. If we truly want to save the church, we truly want to save our faith, then we need to step back from our self-pious understandings of my Christianity or hell, and instead look at others with the love and care for those who have actively participated in his own death, and said of them, Jesus said of them, "Forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." I love and I serve the church. I love God and I serve Christ. I trust in the Spirit and its influence in the world. I'm not about dumping on the church. It's about opening our imaginations, our hearts, our spirits to living closer to the image of God we find presented to us in the faces of our fellow human beings in the world around us. God calls to us in so many ways and in so many images. Let's open ourselves up to God's call once again. Just some thoughts for today. Peace.